Hi there Gundam fans, welcome back to Gundam.my. I'm your host Abdurrahman as always, and today we are going to be reviewing the newest Core Gundam 2 Titan and G3 color. Now these two kits were actually released in December of 2020. Now surprisingly, I actually made a video about these two kits before the review video. Actually these two kits weren't released during the time, so they've been released in December 2020. So these two kits, the only differentiation about it is that the colorization, and that is all. Really, you can use the same manual to assemble these both kits. Now the difference being is the colorization, and nonetheless, besides that, the runners, everything is literally the same. So there's no differentiation between these two kits when assembling them, but in look wise, yeah, the difference is the colorization itself. So let's head into the video of the part where we actually see the Gunpla itself. So after you assembled your Core Gundam 2, here it is. It is in the G3 form and in the G3 colorization, and of course in the Titan form and Titan colorization, sorry. So this is basically in its core flight mode. Now surprisingly, transforming the core flight mode into the normal version, which is basically the default version of the Core Gundam, is pretty simple. Now don't worry for those beginners that you think that I have a complicated way of transformation. Don't worry about this kit at all. This kit is really simple, as I demonstrate you how easy it is to actually transform the Core Gundam flight mode into the default version. Now with this, it's actually a really nice feature for those that don't want to, think a lot when it comes to transformation. Now I am not a fan of transformations at all. The reason being, well, if you know the Rising Gundam, I preferably hate that kit because of the abysmal amount of transformations and loose parts. But with this kit, it's really simple, straightforward overall. The color separation when it comes to the G3 Titan is really nice. So overall, as you can see, it took me around 5 minutes to fully transform the core flight mode into the Core Gundam itself, as you can see before you. Now if I were to actually grab these two kits side by side, there is no difference whatsoever. The only difference being is that the coloring, that is all. Now this kit actually comes with its own pedestals respectively in their own color. Now yes, the pedestals actually at the bottom, that you can actually keep the hands at the underside of the pedestal, so it gives you an easiness for you to actually put the arms at their respective place, so you don't have to hassle around to find a spot for these arms and hands itself. Now let's take a closer look and see the movement. So the movement of the Core Gundam is surprisingly well and actually a bit tight. So as you can see, everything is ball socketed joint, so there's not that much amount of poly caps, as you can see. Now everything is ball socketed joint. Now the thing is that the Core Gundam has an issue between the body and the waist, and I'm currently testing if it's that loose, and surprisingly it isn't. It's not like the Core Gundam from the Rising, where in a single flick you can actually just detach the entire body and the waist itself. So really with the Core Gundam 2, it holds really well. Now unfortunately it can't make a full split, and the legs are pretty flexible. Now you actually have to detach the cockpit of the Core Gundam itself to actually see the full extent of the movement. Surprisingly, the legs and specifically the feet can actually be moved nicely. Now it's actually foldable because you need to transform it into the core flight mode, and as you can see, the problem and main issues of the Core Gundam is the waist and the body itself. It doesn't hold that well because it's being held by a single ball joint. So as you can see, side by side, there's really not much difference. It's really literally the same. The only difference being is that the colorization, if you look from afar. Now you can actually detach it, the backpack, to actually add your own saber for it. So that's a really nice feature to add it with the Core Gundam 2. So I'm going to transform this kit into the flight mode. Now again, I'm transforming back into the flight mode from Core Gundam to flight mode, and I will demonstrate to you how easy it is to actually transform it. You actually have to turn the head around, fold the hands, turn the legs to 180 degrees, fold them accordingly. As you can see, don't worry, the manual will show you of this, but because it's so simple, I don't have to actually look at the manual, so it's really that easy. So after you position everything well, time to place in the cockpit. Now you actually just attach it in nicely and firmly and put it in the respective socket. As you can see, don't forget to actually turn back the sabers, as you can see, and there it is in its flight mode. Simple and easy. So overall, this kit is meant for those that do not want to actually buy an entire HG just to get the core Gundam. We've been actually having trouble to find the core Gundam itself without any sort of extension, without any sort of armor or whatsoever. So here comes the 360. I'm going to show you the full extent of the core Gundam. So as you can see, it is without a doubt a very spectacular kit. Even without the armor, it looks nice, especially in its flight mode. Now I hope you enjoy these 360s, and overall, if you're looking for a kit that doesn't have any sort of armors or whatsoever, you just want the core Gundam, specifically you just want the core Gundam, this is the kit for you. Unfortunately, these Gunpla kits, both of the core Gundam in Titan and G3 color, are selling like hotcakes, so better grab yours quickly. So overall, it is a really nice kit. So you can actually just buy, like for example, a Nepti unit armor kit or a fake new armor kit to attach these to the kit itself, to the armor extension itself. So it's a really nice kit for you to customize and play around with. I hope you enjoyed this review as much as I do. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this 360. So I'm just going to take my leave and let you enjoy the 360. Ciao!